Hello and welcome back to the Megan Dauber podcast. I am Megan and I am so grateful that you are back here with me today, joining to listen in to where our family's story is taking us. And I'm excited to share a little bit more today of what last summer looked and felt like for us. Last summer was just a time where every day I woke up and it had like a big question mark on it. Because, we're past the acute trauma of the winter and spring and the hospital living season and the scariness of rehab and now we're home and adjusting. But like at any given day, I wake up wondering, is this where the healing stops? Is this our permanent deficit? Is there more healing to be had? Will Michael's emotions come back? Will he ever feel hunger again? Or are we going to be living at this phase the rest of our life? And it's just everything is unstable, unknown, and uncertain. And that is, it's the nature of brain injuries in general, but it's the nature of what our new normal was. So every day being a giant question mark, which honestly, I think that's actually how all of us live or are supposed to live. Like, we don't know what's given to us. We don't know what's guaranteed for the next day. But for the last 30 years of my life, I was used to waking up with, an exclamation mark or punctuation that was like sure and steady. But maybe those were false thoughts, right? Maybe it was a false sense of security, and I never really recognized the momentary fleeting days that were given. But now last summer is very much in my face. I would wake up and be like, whoa, nothing is guaranteed, is it? And nothing is sure and nothing is stable. So what am I going to do with these thoughts and these feelings? And how do I just navigate? The only thing I can do is take one step at a time. So that is my headspace, my mentality last summer, and very much my children's as well, even though I don't think they would articulate it that way. That made the family trips that we got to be a part of last summer even more special because they were a little bit of joy and some bright spots in a rather uncertain, tumultuous season. So I mentioned last episode about Michael's incredible email the day of his accident where he planned a family trip to Chincoteague. So I was just going to take us through some highlights of what our summer trips got to look like. And it was such a gift to have the invitations from our family, the Dauber family, and our dear friends, and then our neighbors. It was like a month long of getting to be with people and doing life in a relaxed, vacation-y sort of way, because I was not about to do that kind of thing on my own. There was no way that I could take our family on a trip last summer. I was getting used to my new normal of being the one solely in charge of everything and the one to take care of not only the day-to-day activities, but to take care of Michael. Like, all of that was new. So the thought of doing a vacation on my own, I was like, that ain't happening. But yet my kids, it's the summertime, they're used to being like, what is the thing we're going to do this summer that we're looking forward to? And I was able to give them a bright spot in their summer months because of these few stories and vacations that I will share with you. So it was a really beautiful way to come alongside our family. So if you find yourself asking the question like, hey, I know so-and-so, or my family's going through this, what are ways that I can help them? This is a big one, but like inviting them to do a trip with you or come for a few days if you have a beach house or a mountain home or a lake house, just to come and be your guest and to serve and love on them in their deep time of need. Like, it was such a gift to us. So I wonder if there's someone in your life who that would be a gift to as well. And I know it's a big sacrifice for you because I felt like there were lots of things that people sacrificed to make this possible for us to do last year. But that's where like true love and help and change happens. And I just am so, so grateful. So I hope that those of you who were that impactful in our life last summer know that and feel that. And we are so grateful. Like me, the kids, have really sweet memories of that from last year. And thank you. So anyhow, what we got to do was a beach week with my family. Somebody gifted my parents a home at the North End in Virginia Beach to stay at for the week. So we kind of got to just pretend to be Virginia Beach vacationers. And I love our home. It's a resort town, but when you live here, you don't always treat it as the resort town that it is. But we got to for that week, and we got to go stay right on the water. So, you could wake up and you could hear the waves. And when we're staying with family, like someone else made the coffee for you, and there's extra breakfast, and meals are shared. All the responsibilities are shared. And it was just a really beautiful thing for me in particular. And so we got to walk out on the beach every day and set up camp there. Now it was interesting because that was a lot for Michael. He would get down to the beach and he would just kind of sit in a chair for maybe 30 to 40 minutes. And then he would feel tapped out because it's kind of all he could attend to in his mind. Like his attention wasn't held at that point in his healing process, where he could sit on the beach for hours and hours at a time. So he would get out there and sit for a little bit and then ask to walk back to the house. And someone would have to walk with him because we wanted to make sure he got to the right place because it's not a familiar home. And then like make sure he was okay inside and understood he couldn't leave. And actually, now that I think about it, I think someone always committed to being there with him. So when Michael asked to leave, someone in our family had to volunteer to go and be with him. That was different. The kids noticed he wasn't in the waves with them. He wasn't building sandcastles. He wasn't sitting around having sibling conversation with me. It was just, it was so good to have the opportunity, but also just highlighting the things that are different now. We were also able to take family portraits. That week we had a professional photographer join us on the beach, and they're beautiful, and it was so special. So we had a whole Worthley family picture, and then we got individual photos. And last summer Michael was growing a goatee, which is not normal for him. The kids didn't like it because he had never done that before and he was different. He can grow a great goatee. He's got a lot of facial hair and it looks good on him, but it made our kids mad. And whether that's appropriate or not, you can argue amongst yourselves, but they were mad and they didn't like it. And they didn't like that he had the goatee in the family pictures. And it was just like, it was both. And it was a beautiful family picture. I loved having that memory set in stone. I love having the portraits available, but then knowing that in live action, yeah, the kids are smiling in that picture. They're like hating it and they can't look at it the same. And they didn't want to share it with anybody. They didn't want anybody to see daddy with his goatee. It's just weird things, like things that you don't realize would happen. That's not really a negative memory for me. I liked it. It looked great. And I was grateful that we even had a picture of a family of 5 to take that summer and not a family of 4, right? Like trying to look on the bright side. So then our next trip was finally to Chincoteague. That was the end of July for the annual pony swim in Chincoteague, Virginia. And this is the one that Michael had set up ahead of time and all the Dauberts made happen, which was an incredible gift. So spirits were high in my family as I drove everybody over there. The kids love their cousins. So it was like such a gift to be in the same houses, in the same spaces, and just sharing life together for a few days. And I was so excited to have time with Michael's siblings because this is the first that the Dauberts have all been together since those early days in the hospital that were dark and scary and we don't want to repeat ever again. But now we're all together. Michael can join us in most all our activities and it feels good. And I was anxious to get all of his siblings' perspectives on Michael, because they've obviously had seen him in the worst state and now they're going to see him like this. So what do they think? What's their analysis of these things? So yeah, it was really beautiful to be together. And at the same time, it really highlighted what was different now. There's just this sense of a void when it came to Michael. Like he didn't add much to conversations, wouldn't start or instigate conversations. He didn't have any ideas. He didn't try to start anything. He didn't join in the fun unless you forced him to, come on, Michael, we're going outside. We're going to go toss the football with the kids or whatever they would do. He just was just like a shell of himself, which is hard. It's hard for me to see. It's hard for his brothers to see. It's hard for his sister, hard for his parents, like all of us. Just we know who Michael is. We know who he was. And so to see him like this, there was just a little bit of both joy and pain at any given time. At one point though, they were doing a jigsaw puzzle on the table, like a big, 1,000 or 2,000 piece puzzle. And I remember Michael standing over there trying to do the puzzle, which is actually great brain rehab. And the outline of the puzzle was the only thing that was sort of pieced together. And every other piece was just scattered across the table. And Michael, he's looking at it and he's like, man, this is what my brain feels like. He's like, I know the pieces are here, but everything's just jumbled up. And we were all like, Michael, that's great insight. Like, one, cool that he could articulate that. Two, gosh, that's a hard reality to acknowledge that that's how you feel like. And what a mess. But great that we kind of got some insight into how he feels and he was able to just make that analogy. Like, it was a cool moment to experience. And yeah, just some sweet memories and sweet time together. And then we were able to follow that up with a trip to the Outer Banks, North Carolina, with some of our dear, dear, dear friends, Travis and Carolyn, and their kids. And Travis and Carolyn and I have known each other since college, and we've kind of done a lot of life together. Our kids are like the same gender, same ages, so everybody's got a buddy. And I was their oldest daughter, Sarah's preschool teacher when she was a 2-year-old. So we just have so much history that we hold. So to get to spend quality time together. And Travis is one of Mike's best friends and was there in the hospital and has been instrumental in our recovery since last February. So like their love for us just felt unending. Like they invited us into their beach home, into their life, like included us, took care of us. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful to be in the Outer Banks, beautiful to stay in the home together, beautiful to have just like unending time together. And they, a lot like being with our families, they miss Michael too. And so to have that void of Michael's big personality, like though he's present in here, we all just miss him. Like there was a silent grief that just kind of followed us around, all of us, like at the dinner table. You know, he's not making the same jokes. He's not adding to the conversation. The four of us were big game players together. So we tried to teach Michael Risk. Honestly, we taught me. I'd never played Risk either. But we played this like strategic game together, which is very difficult for Michael. But he rallied, he tried, and it was fun to be included in that. But you could just like his strategy and long-term planning. Like normally Michael is a competitor and will try his hardest to win a game, but he couldn't do it. So it just there was just a lot of like moments of like deep sighs of, whoa, this is very different. There were two moments that stuck out to me that trip that kind of highlighted some work that I needed to do on myself. Travis took everybody parasailing on the Sound side, which was incredible. My crew had never done parasailing before. Now I opted out because I have a fear of heights, and I knew I was like, hey, I've had enough of an adrenaline rush recently. I don't really need to put myself, normally I don't back down from a challenge, and I like would have gone for it despite my fear of heights. But I was like, no, I think I'm just going to sit this one out. So I went on the boat anyway, but I was right, because watching everybody go parasailing and watching my little kids be let up 800 feet over water that I was so sure sharks were swimming in. And I could just like picture the worst happening, worst case scenario, people falling from their harness into the water. Like I was a mess, but it definitely, I was like trying to calm myself down with my breathing and being like, Megan, that's ridiculous. This is not going to happen. They're safe. We're all in life jackets. This is fine. But Michael got to go. Michael got to do parasailing for the first time with Brooks and Ryland on both sides of him. And we have cute pictures and video, and it was safe. I was a good firstborn rule follower, and I called the cardiologist the day before to confirm that my husband could indeed go parasailing. And they were like, yeah, it'll be fine. He can do it. So he did it, and it was great. But it also definitely made me realize how out of whack my adrenaline system in my body actually was doing. And then later that week, Ryland, in the middle of the night in an unfamiliar sleeping situation, right? So he woke me up with like a scream cry and this cough, like this croupy, really loud, alarming sounding cough and a cry. And what wakes me up out of my sleep, and first you're disoriented, like, hold on, who's crying? Second, where am I? What is this space? So I shoot out of bed, get Ryland, bring him to the bathroom, realize he's going to need a steam shower to get him breathing well again. But then I finally like pause for a moment, look in the mirror. I am ghostly white. Like there is no color in my face, my lips. Like I am pale and I get dizzy and I'm about to faint. And I tell Rylan, you sit here. And I like crawl back to the bed and have to lay down and recover from, I guess, like that initial fear of popping out of bed, finding out something's wrong with your kid and then jumping into action. Like it spikes your adrenaline, right? Like it's this rush of, okay, jump into action, do something. You're a mom, you're used to this kind of thing happens all the time, right? But then my system, like I have been living in a heightened cortisol levels for months and months and months on end and like really hadn't come down. So that little bit of a spike again that night, like made me sick. And that's not normal. Like that doesn't normally happen to me. So I knew like, wow, we have got to spend some time when we get home again on evening out. And what's it going to take, Megan? Is it going to be counseling, therapy, extra rest, relaxation, medication? I don't know what it is, but this is not normal. So that was interesting. And I had started to have a harder time staying asleep at night at this point in life. I would wake up regularly at like 3 a.m. and just my mind would race. And I had to get up and just like be with Jesus and open my Bible and be reminded to go back to the word and be like, what is truth? What is truth? What is truth? And those are my 3 a.m.s. And that's the time too that I bought a weighted blanket because I needed help. I needed to feel just grounded and not like I was floating on the waves of chaos. But yeah, fun times, just not something that I want to repeat again, but there were tools to help me through that. And then just to wrap up our vacation summer, we got to end the week in the Outer Banks by driving up to Cape Charles with our sweet neighbors. They have a home up there and invited us and another set of neighbors to join them. And it was delightful. Like it was so special. Just to have somebody else for, those 3.5 weeks in a row, someone else to not share the burden with, but like, I wasn't responsible for all the meals. I wasn't responsible for all the planning of our day. Like it was just a partnership of coming alongside the people we were with. And that was so nice for me after having, been caregiving and being the sole parent and things. And so just thank you, friends and family, for making that possible for us. But one thing that that month produced in me was this familiar little friend crept up called comparison. And I began to notice it when we were with Michael's family, mostly. Like there were moments where I would compare like me and Michael to everyone else and their husbands, each other couples, right? Like, wow, I don't have that anymore. I don't have these lives that they have. We don't have these relationships anymore. Like some of the things that we often take for granted in our daily lives, now I am lacking those and I see them vividly in other people and I miss it. And just simple things like holding each other's hands or, someone to come alongside you and to take care of you, someone to drive you around. Like I do all the driving now. I haven't been driven in a car since before Michael's accident. Like I do all the driving. I pay the bills, like at a restaurant, like I do all the paying. And I know that is such a small thing, but like for weeks on end to be around watching what is normal in our society, like for, husbands and wives to share responsibility. I would just, watch across the table and watch each of the dads, like hand their credit card or like take care of the bill. And then, it's me getting him a little purse and getting another credit card. Here, yeah, I got it. Not a big deal. I can do that for the rest of my life. No problem. But each little moment like that, still early on in our journey, was just a little bit of pain, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of grief, being like, this is it now. This is different. Things have changed. It's a reminder. But also getting to watching other people share in parenting responsibilities, whether it's disciplining the children. Like if two of my children get into a fight, it's all me. It's dependent on me to intervene and parent and discipline. And I'm often tired and I want to share that burden with Michael, but he could not rise to the occasion to do that. And watching the other dads get to take care of it completely or partner with their wives in that, was like another little grief, like things that I had to just process and deal with. And I mean, comparison is the thief of joy, right? We we need to be on our guard against comparison in everyday normal life. And it was a new level for me to compare my reality to what I used to have and the realities of everyone else around me. Like I didn't know what to do with that often. And I have been trying to practice in those moments, like just bringing them to Jesus, bringing those thoughts and feelings to Jesus. And like there's going to be a lot. There are still things in life that I compare my story to someone else's, and it brings me to this place of grief and sadness. But like, I don't want to live that way. I don't want to ever harbor bitterness or negative feelings towards someone else. That's not fair. That's not what I want to be about. So I'm trying to take these thoughts and griefs and sadness that came from comparison and like hand them to Jesus and say, okay, Lord, here they are. Here are the real things I'm feeling. Take these thoughts. I don't know what to do with them. Lord, like either replace it with something better. Help me trust that you're better. Lord, I don't feel that way right now, but like, can you fill these voids? Can you meet me in the gap that I'm feeling right now? And, or often like my prayer was, take these desires away from me if I can't have them, or help me fill them with something better. Lord, I need help in this moment. And I think that practice, well, it's something that I am still doing to this day, like recognizing that those feelings, when they happen, A, acknowledging them and naming them, and then B, not feeling shame about it. Like there is no reason, if you find yourself in shoes similar to me or just in regular life, like those feelings are real and valid. The comparison thing happens, but then what do we do with it? Don't let it become bitterness. Don't let it harbor bitterness in your heart. Don't let it fester, but acknowledge it because those are real feelings, and don't feel shame over it. Do not feel like you're human. Your mind just operated as a human should. That's not shameful, but to bring it to the light and then bring it to the Lord and say, hey, this is how I feel. Like I really would love a husband who just takes care of me and puts his arm around me and guides me and pays for the dinner bill. Like, can I have that again? Or if I can't, can you take that desire away and replace it with more of yourself? Or can it be something better? Like, I do believe that your plans are better than I could even imagine. So can I have a little glimpse of that now? Like, Lord, take my pain and do something with it. And honestly, I don't really have the conclusion, like the other side of that, but that's just the practice that I have been living in. And last summer really became obvious to me that, oh, you're going to have to get good at this, Megan, because I don't think this is going anywhere for a long time. Like you're in this for the long haul. But yeah, don't let comparison steal your joy. Fight for joy. Acknowledge the feelings when they happen, when they come up. Don't feel shame over it, but like open-handedly say, here, Jesus, this is how I'm feeling. Honestly, what can you do with this? And just give it to the Lord and trust that he knows what's better for you, and trust that he hears you, and trust that he can fill your heart and your life with more of himself. And that will truly be better than anything else that this world could offer. Thank you for listening. We will be together next week on the podcast. I just appreciate you all. All right. Have a great week. See you next time.